Did you know students in the Templeton Honors College have a wide range of vocational interests and callings? In fact, graduates and current students have studied in or are currently studying in 25 different majors across almost every department in the College of Arts and Sciences, plus a few students who created their own individualized majors. Our next speaker exemplifies very well the vocational journey that students often embark upon when they begin their studies in the Templeton Honors College. Ruth Chia matriculated in the fall of 2007 with an expressed interest in biology and psychology. It didn't take her very long, however, to come to the realization that her real passion was the field of history. Like Amanda, Ruth also chose to study abroad in Oxford, which she did this last spring, where she completed tutorials in modern German history and Chinese philosophy. Ruth will be graduating this spring after just 3 years at Eastern. She has recently submitted her application for a Fulbright fellowship, and so she hopes at this time next year to be teaching English in Taiwan through the Fulbright program. We are looking forward to an impressive future for this young woman. Join me in welcoming Ruth Chia.
Good evening. I am Ruth Chia, currently a junior in the Templeton Honors College. Before I entered the Templeton Honors College, I was a high school student planning on going to college, pursue academics, get a college degree, and then apply to graduate school and get a job. I also knew I wanted to walk closely with God, and surely a Christian college wouldn't hurt. So I applied to the Templeton Honors College for the Christian-based academic environment, and I knew I would have no regrets. Reflecting back on my 3 years here, I have learned so much things that I never knew I would need to learn. It was also in these 3 years in the Templeton Honors College environment that I have come to realize that I had a purpose to fulfill in God's kingdom. This process of coming to awareness began with a Good Life course with Dr. Hall. The spiritual seeds were sown by the great writers of the early church, from Athanasius to Bernard of Clairvaux. I found that every author had found immense joy and peace in pursuing the work of God, the work God has called them to do. Through reading these great writers, I began to desire to equip myself to be a faithful and ready servant for whatever purpose God has planned for me. Concretely, the first starting point was to choose my major. In my first semester, I had a difficult time deciding what my major was going to be. I shifted from biology to education and was considering psychology, but finally deciding on history. Though I did not know what I was going to do with the history major, I knew that I loved studying history, and I also knew that God can use me through the things that I love to do. In Plantinga's book, Engaging in God's World, which we had to read for the Good Life, there is a quotation by Frederick Buechner, which reads, quote, "The place God calls you to is the place where your deep gladness and the world's deep hunger meet," end quote. That statement was wonderfully touching to me, even as a freshman in search of her calling. The honors courses have also helped me to realize that I need to be equipped not only with a strong academic foundation, but also a strong spiritual foundation. One of the honors core class is the Justice and Common Good. That course instilled in me a strong sense of justice and what the world should be. It became painfully obvious that the world was so far from what God had desired his creation to be. The more one understands justice, the more one sees the many injustices in the world. I realized that my calling is, in part, to advance God's kingdom, which is directly related to God's and Christ's call for us to love our neighbors. With a unique curriculum based on both Western thought and biblical grounding, the Templeton Honors College has helped me see that academics and the pursuit of knowledge is situated in a deeper context. We rigorously study and cultivate our minds for the sake of fulfilling our purpose in God's kingdom, to provide justice and help the poor. The THC has taught us that we have the responsibility to be the agents of social justice, and in doing so, we are demonstrating God's love. Simultaneous with spiritual growth is character development. The Templeton Honors College motto, cum gratia officium, which is with gifting comes responsibility, reminds us that the more God has given us, the more He will demand of us. We who are blessed with gifts of intelligence and other gifts must work hard to develop integrity, ethical goodness, and humility. We learn humility, for example, in our classes. We find that we know so little, and our professors who are so brilliant, and yet they are willing to learn from us students. Through conversation, dialogue, and debate, we search for truth. The honors classes have pushed me to think hard and deep as people from different backgrounds and denominations bring forth their ideas to class. Through the Honors College, I have come to value my own cultural background and to appreciate my upbringing. Thus, after I graduate, I plan to spend a year in Taiwan to learn Mandarin and to physically root myself in the culture that my parents grew up in. In conclusion, the Templeton Honors College prepares us academically and spiritually to view the world through a more robust framework of biblical justice and to see the world as God's kingdom. I am confident that God has a specific calling for me in His world, though I do not know exactly what it is. For now, I know that I am here in the Templeton Honors College, where God is shaping me for His work. Thank you.